what we're going to do next, I'm going to kind of do two things at once. What I'm going to do is show you how to combine your ingredients for the country gravy, and then I'm going to have an assistant come up and stir it while I'm making the Alfredo sauce for fettuccine Alfredo, because I don't want you to watch me stir for a few minutes. That would be pretty boring. So, first thing I need for the country gravy is 6 tablespoons of olive oil. But if you'll look down, the 4 cups of unsweetened soy milk or almond milk, this right here, you can find these on the breakfast aisle. It's almond or soy milk. They'll last for a long time in the cupboard. If you don't use it very much or whatever, you don't have to buy the refrigerated version. You can get this. And this is exactly 4 cups. So that's why I have this for the gravy. But what you need to do, if you've ever made gravy at home, you don't want to add cold milk to your hot flour, because what happens? It clumps up, right? And then you can't hit it enough with a whisk to get it to disperse outward. So what I'm going to do is shake this up a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and heat it. You don't have to bring it to a boil, but you want it fairly warm so that when it hits the pan, it doesn't clump the flour. Okay, so I've got my milk heating, my almond milk or soy milk, whatever alternative that you like. And now I'm going to add to my skillet. It says you want to use a heavy bottom saucepan, and that helps it to not burn. But for the sake of time, I wanted this to cook quickly, so I just used a thin regular frying pan. I'm going to put in this is 6 tablespoons of olive oil. And then I'm going to add my unbleached flour. You don't want to use regular bleached white flour, because when they actually use a food bleaching agent to bleach it, and I don't like my food bleached, so I buy the unbleached flour. And you can even get the organic kind, and they sell this at Walmart. So you just put it right in the pan with the oil, and you're going to whisk it with a whisk until it's all wet. You don't want it any dry left in there. Need to turn it on. Now, gravy is one of those aggravating things that you kind of have to stick around the kitchen for, because you have to stir it pretty often throughout the duration of making it, and you don't want it to burn once it's mixed with the oil. Yeah, in just a second I will. So I've got it mixed up. You can see how it kind of looks like caramel or something. And you just let it sit there for just a minute. And everybody likes their gravy to be different, because it depends on how much salt you put in your biscuits. So it's salt to taste. I usually do about a ½ tablespoon of salt for this. It's a little over a half, but it's not the 3/4. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Or you can just add as you go, When you're cooking for just you and your kids, you can stick your finger in it if you want to and taste it. Okay, so I've added my salt. And I'm going to add 3 jolts of liquid smoke. The reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to make this like a sausage gravy to go over biscuits. So I want it to have kind of a smoky, sausagey taste in itself. So you just do 3 jolts, shake it up a little bit. You can get this from Walmart, like on the barbecue aisle, and it is kosher, and it's gluten-free also. 1, 2, 3. You don't need very much of it. It'll take over if you put too much. You can also use, there's a powder form, it's called like bacon smoke, B-A-K-O-N. You can get that from a health food store if you don't want to use the liquid smoke. Then you just kind of stir that in. Tracy, will you hand me a spoon to stir this? Now my milk, I don't want it to boil. Okay, it's not. No, that's fine. Yes. Here is the bacon hickory smoke style, but it has the bacon with a K. It says $7.79 on the top. So this liquid smoke is a little cheaper than this, but it goes a long way. You don't have to use very much at all. Okay, so once this gets warmer, what you want to do, you're cooking your flour. So you want it to be, right now it's kind of a yellowish tan color. What you want it to do is start cooking, and it's going to make it like a brown color, like a real smooth caramel brown. So, I'm waiting for my milk to get hot. And what you're looking for with your oil and flour here is you want it to start kind of bubbling, but you don't want it on extremely high because you don't want it to burn, and you'll smell it. You'll smell it burning if it gets there. But it will mess up your entire gravy if you burn it. It's not bubbling. Does this take a while for the burners to heat a pan? Yeah. Is the light on? Yes. Okay. Might just take a minute. Okay. Now, back to my gravy here. Thank you, Tracy. It's simmering now, and it's kind of caking up a little bit. So what you're going to do is add your warm milk, and you're going to whisk it as fast as you can without losing your pan. I go ahead and get it going, which this burner is not real hot, so it's not going to make a big mess. Sometimes you hit it just right, and that the almond milk will hit the ceiling. So what I did is put about half of the almond milk, and you want your burner really hot but not boiling, like I said before. And this would be a lot thicker right now if we were on a conventional oven. But eventually you add it all. You just want to be careful, not to add it too quickly because you don't want the clumps. You want it to stay very liquidy and creamy. So that's about it. All you do is stand and keep an eye on it. Stay in the kitchen. You don't want to go too far. And continue to whisk it until you get the consistency that you like. And what I've brought with me, we did some of this at the last cooking class. It's veggie sausage. And this is what I'm going to add to my to my gravy. After it's real thick like I like it, you can either, like I keep some frozen in the freezer. You just have it thawing out in the morning or whatever, the night, in the refrigerator. If you know you're going to do a sausage gravy, you just chop it up and you can brown it on a skillet, or you can just chunk it in there. It doesn't really matter. And you don't even have to put this in there. It's totally optional. Like I said, after it gets thick, that's when you add it. You just put it in there, stir it up, make sure all the sausage is covered, and then you take your biscuits and you peel them open on your plate and you drizzle it over them. It's so good.